With the current state of the industry, it's easy to be rather pessimistic about the future of video games. AAA games seem to be one of two things: extremely ambitious high-budget action games that take a very long time to come out, or extremely ambitious live service slop that has a lifespan of 12 months max and puts many people out of a job. So it's so refreshing for us to get beautiful artistic indie games such as the Plucky Squire. The Plucky Squire caught mine and many people's attention when it was first announced back in 2022, with its beautiful storybook art style and its interesting gameplay mechanics. It was being published by Devolver Digital, who have a good eye for good games. So with a release date of the 17th of September 2024, I was eagerly anticipating the release. I have now finished the game, so let's get down to the nitty gritty. Did the game live up to the hype? Let's find out. The story of the Plucky Squire is about the titular Plucky Squire Jot and his journey with his two pals Violet and Thrash to stop the evil wizard Humgrump, but on the way to stop him, Jot is forcefully pushed out the book he's a part of into the real world, where his true journey unfolds. The story is unsurprisingly very simple and childish, which is to be expected for a game about a children's book, but that doesn't mean the narrative is completely surface level, as something I notice about the story to the Plucky Squire is that it's telling another story underneath the surface, one about inspiration. The game itself is clearly a labour of love that takes massive inspiration from games from the SNES era, and especially A Link to the Past. And the overlining story to the Plucky Squire is making sure that the child who is the owner of the storybook doesn't lose his inspiration, so he in the future can make a storybook about himself. So the narrative on the surface level is very simple and perfect for kids, whereas the narrative about inspiration is something you might appreciate as an adult thinking back to what kind of media inspired you as a kid. Clearly a narrative built with love. And the presentation of the Plucky Squire is something that for a lot of people will do the heavy lifting in terms of how much they will enjoy the experience. The beautiful 2D art is done by former Game Freak artist James Turner, and to really pardon the pun, it really pops out to you and really does remind me of the British children's books I grew up with, alongside with the British narrator that sounds straight out of Thomas the Tank Engine. It does absolute wonders for me. I will admit that the 3D art is not as pretty as the 2D art in my opinion, and took a little while to get used to, but once I did, I really did enjoy it. But I understand that is a personal taste thing. Objectively, the game is absolutely gorgeous. Something I can't say a lot about though, is the music. You have some nice whimsical tunes that pair well with the high-spirited adventure, but the rest of the music just isn't as memorable. It feels like it all blends together. It's not necessarily bad, it's just a little bit disappointing. The gameplay of the Plucky Squire is, yes, again as you might have guessed, very simple. This is very much ripped straight from its biggest influence, A Link to the Past. Not bad inspiration to rip from, but it's been done so many times over the past 30 years, especially in the indie space. One of the creators, James Biddle, has even done this style of game before in 2019 with his release of Swords to Ditto. So if this was all the Plucky Squire was, it wouldn't be very interesting. But it's not obviously. As previously mentioned, you have the ability to pop in and out of the book. So you can do some stuff that will affect the book by exploring the desk and finding some MacGuffin that will help you progress, which is quite novel, but that's not the only thing you can do, as you can also rewrite certain sentences in the book to change things, and these act as the puzzles in the game, which, as you might have guessed, aren't very tricky for adults, but for children it provides the right sort of challenge for young gamers. And finally, we have the boss fights in the game, which are played as familiar looking mini games, and I'll be honest, these are fantastic. A proper highlight of the game to me. These range from a Punch-Out themed battle with a honey badger, and a Resogun themed shootout on the side of a mug, and a Peggle themed bout between you and a wizard. They're all so imaginative and fun, it's just childhood-like whimsy. Now let's talk about technical performance, which for the most part is perfectly fine, but I did run into some problems that I think I should address. I played the game on the PS5, so I can't talk about what it plays on other platforms, but I didn't have any frame drops or crashes, but I did have some annoying bugs which happened when I stopped filming. The first one was where a key despawned, meaning I couldn't progress and I had to restart the section again. Annoying, but not the end of the world. Another was an audio bug which occurred when I threw my sword against a heart, which resulted in an obnoxiously loud noise that didn't go away till I quit out of the game. And lastly, another bug where I couldn't progress due to enemies not spawning, which again, all these problems are small in the grand scheme of things, but only fair to mention from an objective point of view. The Plucky Squire was truly a delight from start to finish for me. It very much met my expectations, for which were pretty high, and honestly, I think it has a good chance to win Indie Game of the Year. It's not perfect, but if you're looking for a game to play with your kids, or you're a massive kid at heart and want some childlike whimsy in your life, you can't really go wrong with the Plucky Squire. I give it a solid 8 out of 10. If you stayed to the end of the video, thank you. I really do appreciate it. If you liked the video, please consider liking and subscribing, and let me know what your thoughts of the review were. A little different to my other videos, but I thought I would give it a shot. So once again, thank you for watching, and hope I see you again.